35 races down, 12 drivers eliminated, 4 drivers remain, 1 crown to give. With COVID starting to pick things up a bit, the timing couldn't be more perfect to have the season to end. Before we get to the top 4, let's look at the eliminated drivers. Well, you get to keep your ride for next year, so you have to find a new one in 2022. I didn't expect many guys to make it far, and I was right on the money. This year wasn't for him, and to be frank, this team is promising. They just need to get more consistent and not choke like the Falcons. Hey, at least they fired Dan Quinn. As for next season, I wouldn't be surprised if they make the playoffs again. I expect Matty Ice to run for his career. I will say this, congrats on your Rookie of the Year, and congrats on getting a win to prove me wrong they could be promising. As for the races, I knew a first or second round exit was possible, and it did happen. For Custer, this was most likely growing pains. He'll get some experience in a year or two before he can compete, and people bitch that Suarez should have kept his ride. I will say this, if he makes the playoff next season, I would be a bit surprised and might consider him a contender for the future. For now, I wouldn't be surprised if he have a sophomore slump. I'll be honest, I was hoping for a round of 12 exit for him, and guess what happened? He got a round of 16 exit. That's what I get for believing in him. Daytona's a nice win and all, but it was not enough to make a big enough noise to get by the first round. If we removed that win, this would have been expected, and if I was being more realistic. To be honest, I didn't expect anything, and yet I'm still let down. San Jose Sharks have similarities with Byron. Anyone? Anyone at all? I'll show myself out the door. At least Byron's exiting is not as disappointing with Blaney. Dear God, I thought he was going to have a round of 12 or 8 exit, not a round of 16. With that Talladega win, guess what? It was a fluke. Blaney, to put it plainly, was a disappointment this season. I was expecting more from him, and yet he didn't deliver. I was hoping for a round of 8 appearance and maybe 2 to 3 wins when he was just puttering around mid-pack, barely did anything in the playoff. Just be lucky that you have a long-term extension to kick into this offseason. I would go harder with you, but I'll give you a pass this time around. Next time, not so much. If I may be frank, this actually was to be expected. Amaral isn't bad per se, but he's just not, special. He's just there. Sure, he got 2 wins to his name for his career, but it was either a Range Jordan race in Daytona or a fuel mileage race at Talladega. So when he got in the playoffs, I wasn't expecting a round of 8 appearance again, and while he did get close, there was no way he would get in overall. Overall, not disappointing, but more of what I was expecting. Mediocrity. Just like the doctor ordered. At least got extra year or so. So, Clint Boyers knocked out the playoffs in the second round, just as I predicted. What I didn't predict is that Boyers calling a career and is joining Jeff Gordon and Mike Joy in the Fox booth. Not a bad choice since he was very entertaining in the Invitational series. That's something to say. So who's going to place Boyer? Oh, it's Briscoe. It's Briscoe that was taking the mantle. Not bad goal considering he got 9 wins to his name and possibly a championship title. I was honestly expecting Larson, but whatever. Crazier shit happened in 2020. Speaking of crazier shit. A round of 12 exit for Rowdy? This is peak 2020. The Browns are playing well while Rowdy is driving like Miss Daisy. As for the season whole, I guess the collapse was inevitable. I mean, he went from defending the title to just utterly collapsing in on himself. Before Texas, he had 0 wins, 1 top 5, and 3 top 10s in the playoffs. That would have been the best sign that he would have made it around 8, but Talladega and Roval decided to say, hold my drink. Great job, Rowdy. I will say this, it's still 2020. We'll see if 2020 still happens to you for next season. Hey, at least you got to win a Texas in the round of 8, meaning that if you made the round of 8, you would have been in round 4. Just saying. Just saying. Well, best case scenario had played out, a round of 12 appearance. I wasn't foolish to think he would be a championship contender with that win at Texas, but it did help his playoff contention. Dillon managed to drive well 2 top 5s in the round of 16. However, Las Vegas was the race that buried him and he couldn't recover. He drove his best, but it was just not enough. I will give credit that Dylan didn't dab his way out of the playoffs like last time. Just saying. I'm slightly impressed. You managed to look your way into the round of 8 with a win. I also knew you were going to be eliminated round of 8, but it's a good thing to see. It's no title, but you managed to prove that you still have something in the tank. Do I think you win another title? No. You're pretty much out of your prime, but celebrate this like it's their last win. Hey, at least you get to keep it right for another season, and you have an interesting teammate in Ross Chisholm in the 42 car. That's something at least. I will say this, MTJ, you were consistently in the top 5 in the playoffs. 3 top 5s, 5 to 10 isn't sneeze at. Hell, you were at one point close to locking up Martinsville to lock your way into the Final 4. However, some issues at the end with tires pretty much ended your hope for the season. I don't know how much you have left in the tank, but this was a growing year with a new crew chief considering your old one decided to retire suddenly. I hope next year you take a step back up to the competitive level. That's all I'm asking. Bowman the showman. After that win in Cali, people thought you might be a championship contender. I wasn't fooled to believe you'd be around a 16 or 12 exit. I was kind of wrong, you managed to get around an 8 exit. Not bad. Not bad at all. Consistent through the playoffs with 0 wins, 3 top 5s, and 6 top 10s. A good result encourages me. What makes it more interesting is that you're succeeding Jimmy Johnson in the 48 car. That's interesting. As for who's replacing you in the 88, oh sorry, now the 5 because the 88 is retiring. That would be Kyle Larson, starting next season. Sometimes number switching can get really weird. That's all I'm just saying. If I may be controversial a little bit, I know the playoffs are flawed as fuck and that the wrong champion would be crowned, but honestly, the closer became the choker. After Kansas, I was ready to crown him champion because Phoenix is his playground, and all he needed to do was not to choke. Let us sink in. He pulled in Atlanta. Seriously, he had Gaza points, 9 wins, consistency on his side, and yet he choked in both Texas and Martinsville. I will give him credit they draw in 1 point as the race went down. But let me ask you some questions. What is this? What the fuck are you doing, man? Just a simple tap 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 would have done the trick. But you went Happy Gilmore and just broke yourself out of the title. Now this is a what if in the ages. Congratulations Harvick on this epic collapse. The Falcons will send you a check in the mail for this failure.
He needs the position.
Oh, Harvick spins the 18.
Turns into the 18. He turns as well. The 18 crosses the start-finish line, and Harvick is going to be out of the playoff.
Now that we talked about the 12 drivers that were eliminated and one controversy that is going to happen, let's take a peek on who would be racing for the title. He made it back. Interesting. After winning the title in 2018, winning damn more, may I add, he failed to repeat that and got eliminated in the round, losing the title to Kyle Busch. Now, Logano has a chance to get his second title in 3 years. However, there was an issue I had. He started out hot with 2 wins in Las Vegas and Phoenix, but then socially distanced himself till the win at Kansas. Do I think he's going to win the title? He has to get building and won the spring Phoenix race before COVID shut the whole sport down for a bit. However, I have my doubts and I've been proven wrong before. Let's just say I got the orders backwards a bit. Overall, Logano has potential to win the title, but I just can't shake off the feeling that he might lose it. I'm just saying. After a back-to-back round of 8 exits, Bad Brad managed to finally make it back to the round of 4. A 4-win season can do wonders for a team. With a 1-year extension set to kick in next season, it was do or die time for Brad, and he delivered in the best way possible. With his teammate in the Final 4 with him, Penske is getting his money's worth with these two. Brad hasn't been the most consistent in the playoffs, but he managed to get some like breaks out of it. I mean, he knocked out the choker in Harvick out of the playoffs. As for title hope, he needs to perform really well against Logano and the next two opponents to prove that 2012 wasn't a fluke year. I'm keeping my eye on you, Brad. prove me wrong. You made it. Good. Now I have to wait on the video a bit longer to make sure you succeed in playoffs, and you might, keyword might, win it all. For the first time in ever. I would really miss the meme of you choking the big stage if you win it all. I would personally congratulate you on the title if you do win it all. Your Toyota's only hope right now, and you might get the best equipment to make the most out of it. So either win it all, or I'm going to make that video. I promise, and I will make that if you fail to win it all. What's going to be Hamlin? Title or immortality as a choker? The choice is yours. If I may be honest, Elliot, if you didn't win at Martinsville, I would have called you Choke Elliot as a bad pun and probably called it a day. But a win's a win, and you proved that you can wheel the car. Seriously, you're a road course ringer, and you managed to win at Martinsville after a particular heartbreak. As for the championship, Phoenix isn't your best track, but you did finish second and even got some top 5 finishes here. After getting bounced in either the round of 12 or the round of 8 in your first 4 years, will your number 5 be the lucky charm? I certainly hope so. At least Harvick is in the final 4 this time around. I would like to mention that other than Harvick, the choker, I got 3 of the final 4 correct. But who would win it all? First off, finishing 4th would be Logano. I know last time I put him in 4th he won it all, but I don't think it would happen this time around. Sports Novice, please. As 3rd, I think it would be Elliott. A sucky ending, but he would prove that he would be NASCAR's next superstar. 2nd would be Bad Brad, and yes, Hamlin would finally break his curse and win it all in the 2020 season. I mean, it's 2020 for Christ's sake. Anything could happen. I wouldn't be surprised if Hamlin won it all. That's all I'm just gonna say. I mean, seriously, next gen is gonna be 2022. Well, one last ride, Jimmy. One last ride.